points, and that night giving up 218 yards and letting Seattle control the clock 39 minutes and 45 seconds throughout the night. And also Dalvin Cook, look, I get you had a shoulder injury, that's a bummer, but before that, he only had 9 carries for 29 yards. And I love it, all the Viking fans, they are thinking in a realistic perspective, finally. They believe the season is done. Even if they won out, they don't have a chance. They have to play Detroit, L.A., they have to go all the way across the country to play the Chargers. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. Then the Packers on Monday Night Football at Minnesota. And then they have to finish against Chicago at Minnesota, where last year the Bears took the Vikings out to the back of the barn and spanked them a couple of times.
My goodness. So let's add to this fool's gold thing here a little bit even more, since I love the way we're going with this.
For you, Scott.
Oh, you're the best, man. Energy wise, knowledge wise. Now I had a chance to see something on Saturday and Sunday, and they were different games altogether. Impressed with the game we're going to be talking more about at Florida Atlantic. Gets set to take on UAB. That'll be a Thursday thing. But fool's gold. Actually, when we talk about the F connection, we have fools and then we have fools, as in gold. And I'll give you the two. Can you count to 88 million? Because Nick Foles, if he gets all that money, will be able to do it. What are your thoughts about what's going on in Jacksonville with Minshew Mania and Nick Foles? That's been a recurring theme tonight. Go ahead, chime in on that.
This might get Dave Caldwell fired, the general manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's the one that signed off on this with Tom Coughlin. I feel like Coughlin's going to get another year, but there's a lot of issues with Jacksonville. They felt like they took care of business getting Jalen Ramsey out of there, but they forgot about one thing. Was Nick Foles going to be what he was after he came back from injury? Keep in mind, this guy was owed $58 million guaranteed. So what are you trying to say to Foles going forward at the end of the season? You think Gardner Minshew is going to be the guy? You're going to have that Minshew magic? It's a mess right now. And if you take a look at Caldwell's record, you can see that he doesn't know how to build an offensive line. He has not built up a strong enough defense. And his coaching, Doug Marrone, has been okay. He's been to an AFC championship, but there's just no consistency with this team. There's no passion in there. When you got Calais Campbell phoning it in, that's an issue. You cannot take a loss like that against the Tennessee Titans in that way. You can't be losing games like this. You can't be forcing out Foles who you paid over $58 million guaranteed, and then pushing Gardner Minshew and say, hey guys, our bad. We understand you were magic, but we need to put you on the side a little bit. How does Gardner Minshew feel about that? He's a 6th-round draft pick. He's a 6th-rounder out of Washington State. He felt like, I had this. But now you're telling everybody that Nick Foles is the guy, and you're confusing the fan base, because now there's no direction. There's no consistency, and if I'm a Jacksonville fan, I'm frustrated beyond belief. And also, I got a question for anybody out there in Jacksonville. How's Leonard Fournette doing? Is he doing well? Has anybody been checking his attitude, been checking his personality, understanding that it's not about him? And also, in my opinion, has been a bust, because even though he's had a couple of good games and maybe one good season, this team just does not look built enough, and I feel like they need a change of direction. And if they're going to do that, Tom Coughlin needs to fire Doug Marrone and fire General Manager Dave Caldwell and see who he can bring in next to try and revamp and bring this team back to where they were a couple of years ago.
So my question to you is this, okay, how many games have you actually covered in your sportscasting career? How many press conferences? Yeah.
I've covered about 15, 20 Magic games. I have been a runner for a few NFL games. Okay. I've been at the Tennis Channel a couple of times.
Right.
And I also was a writer for PackersTalk.com, where I covered about over 16 NFL games for the Packers, and I was also part of a Pack-A-Day podcast. So.
Very good. All right. Well, you know the one thing I can tell you right now, and that's this. Okay,
that's my resume, folks.
Well, no, that's pretty good. I'm impressed. But you ever been to a press conference where a coach tells you, I need to coach better? Time in and time out?
Just one, and that was, that was the Magic. music was Steve Clifford, and then I was at a Central Florida game and interviewed Josh Heupel.
Well, let me tell you what. Doug Marrone seems to be singing a lot these days, and he won't be singing a whole lot longer. I definitely agree with you that they'll be cleaning house. But, I've been working with Doug Marrone the last couple of years. Anytime a guy says that I got to coach better, there's a problem, and it's time to move on. But that's inevitable. That it's going to take place. Now, as far as some of the reaction I was getting up there, as quickly as they wanted to run him out, okay, Blake Bortles' name came up a few times in the press box. We can't say, that he didn't have an adequate opportunity in Jacksonville. They didn't want to make the change, but Blake Bortles' name wasn't being said in vain on Sunday after the display we ended up getting.
Yeah, I can't even believe that name was even spoken about, especially that you were at this game, you were covering this game. What was the one thing that really stood out to you at Jacksonville?
Well, the one thing that really stood out to me, and I know we have another 4 or 5 minutes to go in the program, is that I think Nick Foles should have spent much more time playing with the first team in the preseason to prepare them for the season. That's where they really erred. I know they erred on the side of caution, but that's where they really erred. And if it were me, I still don't think that you don't give up on the Foles experiment at all. I think he should come back another year under a different coaching situation. That's what I think.
Okay, if that's going to, I actually like that because it is $58 million that Shad Khan is going to have to write out.
Right.
So I would say you got to give him another year. But now, what does this mean for Gardner Minshew going forward? Does this mean that he could possibly be a trading chip?
No.
No.
And I'll tell you why. Gardner Minshew, good point though, Jake. If he had looked a lot better in the London game, the decision even for Marrone would have been easier. But the fact of the matter is that Marrone had to make a decision about Foles, and that Minshew's poor performance in London made it easier at that time to do it. Now, again, we're in a business where we second guess a lot, but if Gardner Minshew had taken this team to 5 wins in a row, 5-4, instead of looking as badly as they did, then you kind of wonder a little bit, because then you take away the what-if factor. Anytime you'll find out, Jake, goes on, you want to take a what-if factor so you don't have to wonder, what could have been. You know what I mean? But I think there's a lot more clarity on that situation now, despite the fact that this team is 4-8. And, I hate to say you have to take a step back to take a step forward, but if you look at the logic and the philosophy behind it, you'll know where I'm coming from. But great questions and great points to you, Jake. But that's what I think.
Okay, I'll ask you another question then about Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians has actually done an admirable job. He has all these weapons to work with. Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber are starting to come in now. But Jameis Winston is still the quarterback, and he's been sacked 41 times this year. Where are the Buccaneers with Winston?
I could see Bruce Arians trying to get him another year. If they could bolster that offensive line, Winston certainly is a gunslinger that has good weapons, so you don't give up on a guy that throws a lot of touchdowns. But I think Bruce Arians is the type of guy that if you give him 2 years with Winston, you can still salvage him. I really do. But we'll see. That's an interesting point. I'll tell you this, though, before we get off the air in about 2 minutes or so. A guy to watch for in the offseason, Jake, I'd like to see where a guy like Andy Dalton lands. You put him in a good situation, and I think Andy Dalton's a guy that should get a much better situation, and he's being wasted in Cincinnati.
And if you look at that with Andy Dalton, you see that the numbers that he had with offensive coordinator Jay Gruden was some of his best yet. That's why he became a 4-time All-Pro. And he's a very good quarterback, but he needs a good, consistent offensive coach. And that could be a good one for Tampa Bay going forward. Because the writing's on the wall there. Dalton's going to be out of Cincinnati. They're going to go get their own quarterback. But, if you really want to bring in a guy who can work with this weaponry as well as he did with A.J. Green, I would not doubt if Tampa Bay throws a flyer out there. Or even the Los Angeles Chargers bring in Andy Dalton as well. Both offenses have a lot of weaponry. They just need the right guy to pull the trigger.
Well, you know what? When you make a comment like that, we're ending it on the highest note we can. Since you and Lewis are music guys, okay, and not because we don't have enough time for you to get into your music passion here. But no, I think Andy Dalton with the Chargers would be a great fit. And, of course, Candy and I will be seeing the Chargers and the Jaguars this weekend. So, as usual, Jake, outstanding job tonight, as you always do. Okay, so get ready to talk about Florida Atlantic and UAB on Thursday night here on the Sports Exchange. Anything else you want to add to it real quickly?
Nope. As Metallica says, it's time for Whom the Bell Tolls.
Okay, well, Whom the Bell Tolls says we got to roll. On behalf of our guests tonight, we want to thank everybody for joining the Sports Exchange, and we'll do it again Thursday night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, and Jake, and justice for all.
All right. Good night.